Welcome to Creative Evolution, the show that gives artists a real plan for a long term career. I'm your host, Josi J, and today I'm broadcasting live from Radio KCM for our May Evolution Report, Dispatch number 3. Over the next few segments, we'll look back at the incredible blueprints and unfiltered truths our guests shared in episodes 10, 11, and 12. Remember, questions always lead to answers, so keep asking. Let's start the evolution. Can we do it? Let's dive right into our first recap. Episode 10, Best Friends and Bad Guys, with our fan favorite returning guests, Big Luke Walker and Vinnie Vineyard, the fiercely independent production duo Big and Funky. This episode was a masterclass in finding a creative partner who balances you out. We heard the hilarious true story of how they first connected. Vinnie walked out onto the wrestling ring, and Luke immediately knew they were destined to be best friends. Their creative chemistry relies on balancing their comedic styles. While Vinnie writes solid outlines, Luke spontaneously punches in jokes that perfectly capture the moment. As Vinnie said, they were filming a tense, scary scene where their characters were captured, and Luke, unscripted, added, "I just remembered I have a cheeseburger in my backpack." It taught us a valuable lesson. Don't be so married to the script that you miss a moment of pure, unexpected character. We also tackled the evolution of artificial intelligence. Luke and Vinny are releasing a new sci-fi horror comedy called Showdown in Secret City, which pits low intelligence against artificial intelligence. They made a profound point about why independent artists shouldn't fear the machines. AI might generate a script or a song in 20 seconds, but it'll never inject true human soul, shared experiences, or genuine humor into art. They deliberately leave mistakes, stutters, and unpolished moments in their films because those mistakes give art its character. Big and Funky reminded us of the ultimate rule for independent filmmakers and musicians. Treat your sets like a party. Embrace asset management by surrounding yourself with a diverse community of human talent. And drop your inhibitions. Don't be afraid to look foolish. Let's check out the independent artists featured in episode 10, Alicia Harvey, Jay Bush, and Sammy T and the Sunny D. Can we do it? Welcome back. So next up, we pivot to episode 11, Open Mics, Meatball Covers, and Chosen Family with Chris Marshall, an East Texas native turned Knoxville-based multi-instrumentalist and author of The Lighthouse and the Machine. Chris laid out a master strategy for gigging musicians centered entirely around one core philosophy. Building a community is much more important than chasing the spotlight. For emerging artists trying to get consistent gigs, Chris shared his ultimate musician life hack. Host open mics and open jams, or just show up to them. Securing weekly residencies is difficult for a solo artist, but venues are more likely to hire you weekly if you host a community event that consistently brings people through the doors. He also gave us brilliant stage survival tactics. When a crowd is dead quiet and you get crickets, don't take it personally. Nobody cares, and you shouldn't let it bruise your ego. Instead, command the room with a dramatic pause to draw them back in, or immediately transition into what Chris calls a meatball cover, a universally loved sing-along track like Steve Miller's The Joker or Modern English I Melt With You. Chris dropped some hard business truths as well. If you want top-tier side musicians to play with you, his rules are simple. Pay them. Leave your lead singer disease and ego at the door, and have IRS-compliant books. Above all, if you play in a local scene, never be a dipper. Don't just play your set and leave. Stay and support your fellow artists. His ultimate piece of advice for navigating a long-term creative career: don't take it too seriously. The independent artists featured in episode 11 are Allison Danielle, Chris Marshall, and the band Solstice. Let's give them a listen. Can we do it? Welcome back. In our final episode recap, let's take a look back at episode 12, featuring a very special guest. My own bandmate and lead guitarist for Josi J and Dessert, Dwight Wilson, aka The Wanderer. Dwight is the ultimate example of how to balance it all. Between raising 5 kids, holding a demanding day job, going to the gym, and directing music at his church, Dwight manages a successful music career. During his time in the hot seat, Dwight challenged the notion that you must be a full time, starving touring musician to be valid. Having a regular job doesn't take away from your identity as a musician, it subsidizes your income, removing desperation from gigging so you can play from pure passion rather than survival. We talked about conquering live performance anxiety. He shared the story of his first chaotic gig with our band, where multiple members didn't show up, and he was the only person on stage playing chords to songs he barely knew. His strategy: stop being your own biggest critic. Roll with the punches and focus on what sounds good. Quoting Victor Wooten, Dwight reminded us that there are no wrong notes. You're never more than a half a step away from the right note. To reach that confidence, Dwight swears by the 6 P's. Prior proper preparation prevents poor performance. You must do the work, the dark, quiet work of practicing at home alone before stepping into rehearsal onto a stage. But Dwight's most powerful lesson was his philosophy of the love walk. The business side of music is filled with horror stories about venues, promoters, and competitive artists tearing each other down. Dwight urged us to combat this by walking the love walk, genuinely loving the people you work with, showing respect to the audience, and treating everyone kindly. When we empathize with each other and lift each other up, the entire music ecosystem runs more smoothly. Dwight's episode featured Serana, Lauren Oxford, and Liv Noel. Let's check them out. Can we do it? Welcome back. So recently I sat down with a very special guest, George Hunter, also known as Sugarbear. George has been playing music for over 70 years. He's a Knoxville native, a former music teacher at Austin East High School, and the incredible saxophone player for my band, Josi J and Dessert. George's life is a testament to the fact that music is truly a lifelong journey. In fact, when he was drafted into the military, his musical background actually kept him off of the battlefield and saved his life.
Got drafted, had to go to the war. A lot of people I had to put over in different troops and stuff like that. I had to separate them while I was there. And I continued to go from there. Being I had a lot of music experience, they said, well, you don't need to be out there in the field. They said, no, you're going to be the clerk. And I was company clerk for a while.
It sounds like music saved you.
It did. Definitely it did.
George comes from a highly musical family. His mom was a singer and his dad was a bass player. Naturally, he wanted to play too, and he originally started out on the drums. But he quickly realized that drumming required a level of multitasking that just wasn't the right fit for him, which ultimately led him to find his true love, the saxophone.
You know, you're playing one foot and the other one you're over here playing that one, and over here you doing this thing here, doing that. And I said, wasn't too good for me.
To get better at making his horn sound like a guitar or any other instrument he wanted to mimic, George used a brilliant practice hack. During his time working as a DJ under the name Sugarbear, he essentially created his own masterclass by playing his saxophone along with the records.
And I thought, maybe I should go ahead and start playing at the same time when this music starts. You know, if I could make my horn sound like a guitar or anything else, it'd make it better. And it did.
That strategy of listening, matching, and improving the music around him is exactly what makes George such an incredible player today. Now, at 79 years old, he still plays saxophone for my band, bringing 7 decades of experience to our stage. I asked him what advice he has for young musicians and what he knows now at 79 that he did not know at 20.
Well, practice makes perfect. And keep that song in yours, and you can be heard. Do that. Okay, I'm gonna do that. But it almost sound a little bit better if I add that note into it. You know, when you fill in something else that you turn around and you do, okay, go ahead and do this right here and see if it matches.
Yes.
That's the way they gotta do it. catch the rhythm of the song itself like that and improve it. Fill in wherever somebody's doing this right here, make it sound a little bit better. So you can put a little 2 spots in there, and then when you stop doing that, it's like, okay, all right, let that person play that one. Fill in where it needs to be filled in.
Is there anything else that you want to share with our listeners while I've got you on?
Well, basically, practice, practice, and practice
I love
till
it.
you get there.
Yeah.
Yes.
Practice makes perfect.
Mm-hmm.
It definitely does. George, thank you so much
All right.
for letting me interview you today.
Okay.
I'm so happy that you're here.
All right. Good to be here.
What a beautiful reminder from George. At 79 years old, he still believes that practice makes perfect, and that the true art of being a musician is knowing exactly when to step back and when to step up to fill in the gaps. Thank you, Sugarbear, for your decades of music, your wisdom, and for bringing so much joy to our stages. Let's listen to some more of this month's featured artists. Can we do it? Welcome back to Creative Evolution live on Radio KCM. Since we're 3 full months into our journey together, I want to take a step back. We've heard so many incredible raw stories from our guests, and if you listen closely, you'll start to notice that the blueprint for success in this industry isn't random. The same overarching themes keep popping up, whether you're a comedian, a filmmaker, or a neo soul guitarist. Let's dive into 4 major themes that tie in all of our guests together. Theme number 1, the harmony of community. One of the loudest themes on this show is you cannot survive in isolation, and you absolutely must drop the scarcity mindset. In episode 11, Chris Marshall told us that building a community is more important than chasing the spotlight. He warned us to never be a dipper who plays a set and immediately leaves, urging us to stay and support our fellow artists. We heard this exact same sentiment from Dwight Wilson in episode 12, who challenged us to walk the love walk, to genuinely love and respect the people you work with because it makes the entire ecosystem run smoother. This directly echoes the beautiful advice from our month 1 guest, Becky Grace, in episode 3, who reminded us that there's no competition in harmony, only elevation. It also perfectly aligns with Big Luke Walker's approach to the Gatlinburg scene in episode 7. Luke doesn't view peers as rivals. He acts as a protective dad figure and describes himself as an outlet on a wall where other creatives can safely plug in, recharge, and move forward. The lesson is clear. Champion your local scene, and it will champion you back. Theme number 2, professional humility and the dark, quiet work. Another massive theme is that raw talent will only get you so far. The rest relies heavily on preparation and checking your ego at the door. In episode 12, Dwight Wilson emphasized the 6 Ps. Prior, proper preparation prevents poor performance. He reminded us that we have to do the dark, quiet work of practicing at home alone before we ever hit a rehearsal or a stage. In our George Sugarbear Hunter segment today, we heard a man who's been playing for 70 years boldly reminding us that practice makes perfect, and knowing exactly when to play and when to step back is the ultimate skill. This perfectly mirrors Frank Shedrick Jr. from episode 1. Frank had to learn the hard way that less is more. After accidentally playing the wrong set list on tour with Nate Evans because he used a disorganized piece of notebook paper, Frank completely leveled up his preparation. His ultimate rule for a long-term career: stay humble and always be prepared. Number 3, doing it afraid and failing forward. Our third theme is all about overcoming the terror of rejection and learning to fail properly. In episode 10, Big and Funky reminded us not to fear mistakes because imperfections are exactly what give art its human soul, something AI can never replicate. Big Luke in episode 7 calls this failing forward, using every failure as your best teacher so you learn exactly what not to do next time. His production partner, Vinnie Vineyard, in episode 8, took it a step further, advising us that we have at least 20 terrible movies or bad songs inside of us. So we have to start making them right now, just to get the crap out and polish our craft. We also saw what radical accountability looks like with comedian Nicole Starnes in episode 6. When she completely bombed a set in Virginia, she didn't blame the audience. She went right back to her joke notebook to fine tune her material. So if you are paralyzed by fear of failing, remember Becky Grace's ultimate rule: it's okay if you're afraid. Be afraid. Do it afraid. Theme number 4: radical independence and protecting your worth. We have to talk about taking control of your own business and refusing to wait for industry gatekeepers. In episode 11, Chris Marshall taught us to hack the gigging system by hosting open mic nights to secure your own weekly residencies. Big Luke Walker shared a similar fiercely independent mindset when he walked away from a corporate TV deal. He reminded us that you must guard your creative control because money will never tell a good story. But protecting your independence also means protecting your time and setting firm boundaries. Nicole Starnes told us that to build a sustainable career, you have to break the habit of being a yes person and stop driving 30 miles down the road just for 20 bucks. And James Gilley from Promotion in episode 2 proved that radical honesty is the best business model, teaching us to set expectations with clients right out of the gate so no one is confused about their work. So, there is your master blueprint gathered from 3 months of incredible guests. Connect with your community, do the dark and quiet work of preparation, sail forward, do it afraid, and fiercely protect your independence. Building a long-term career is not magic. It's a strategy. It's about discipline, thoughtful planning, and the courage to reinvent. Remember, asking questions always leads to answers. So keep asking. I'm your host, Josi J, and until next week, your time to evolve starts right now. Can we do it?